Hello and welcome to LedgerCast. My name is Brian Krogsgaard. I'm here, as per usual, with Josh Olswich. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Brian. How's it going?
It's going well. So we're going to talk about a Q2 in review and preview Q3 today. As far as the near-term news, things are pretty quiet. People are on summer vacation and chilling, I guess, huh?
Chilling like a villain.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Have you been chilling? Have you been doing anything fun?
Nah, it just feels like Groundhog's Day. Wake up, do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. I don't know how long ago it was, probably a month ago, that I was saying expect volatility soon, and the volatility sellers have won because the volatility is still absolutely garbage. So if you're a vol seller in crypto, you're doing well for yourself at the moment. I don't know what the futures premiums are. Is it expensive to be on a perp swap contract right now? Long or short?
No, everything's dead.
Just nothing. Nothing anywhere. Everybody's waiting.
Fees are low. Rates are low.
Interesting. Well, that's okay. That's allowed sometimes. But on the whole, Q2 was a positive one for Bitcoin, considering it started April 1st. Let's see, what was the price of Bitcoin April 1st? Around 6,400. Price we've never heard before.
Yeah, so Q2 acted exactly as historically expected in that it was a pretty positive quarter. Yeah. 42%, I think it was. Yeah. ETH was like 100-something percent. Check out the BNC article. I should just pull it up. It's here somewhere. 1 second. Let me just scroll down. So yeah, ETH was 132%. Which is pretty massive, that's huge, considering.
Huge for Ethereum.
It's the biggest quarter since Q4 2017.
Wow. The DeFi narratives are strong.
Sorry, I take all that back. 132 is the mean. 2020, it was 70%. Oh. Still.
70 is good.
That's massive. That is huge.
Yeah.
Coming off that March low. The problem with Q3 is it's mainly been a consolidation quarter for BTC, which may mean alts do something.
But we just spent the last 2 months consolidating.
I know. That's the sad part, is that we may spend another 3.
We're going to 2018 ourselves.
Even if we go to 7-1 on BTC, which I think we will, and then bounce, like, we're still closing the quarter basically break even.
So you think is 9K the new 6,400?
I think 10K is the new 6,400.
Yeah, but we've kind of been bottom side, like on the, it biases the other way, I guess. I mean, that was a floor before and a ceiling now.
Yeah, I had that chart somewhere. Where'd it go? There it is. This is really my roadmap.
Yeah.
And I'm one of the worst people who like, I get locked into like this, like here, I got locked into this Wyckoff thing in like 2018. Mm-hmm. Like now I'm locked into this inverted head and shoulders thing. So like if we get a higher high or higher or lower low before expected, I'm like all confused. Yeah. But this is the roadmap I'm working on.
I don't know what shape that'll end up taking. Like I could figure a scenario where it doesn't really make like a great head and shoulders pattern, but it's a wide range to say, well, none of this matters. You know, like,
yeah. If you look at where we've been since a year ago, nothing's really happened, you know?
Yeah.
Like the VPVR tells you that, especially. It's just all massive volume here in the zone.
The legacy market gave us plenty of reasons to try to follow with a few days up if we were going to continue that correlation. But we really didn't do it. We just kind of piddled around while legacy had 3 or 4 days trying to get back to the prior highs, break out of a multi-week consolidation. So we kind of missed that opportunity.
Yeah, the NASDAQ 30-day rolling to BTC and ETH went negative over the past week.
Yeah. So that's insinuating that consolidation is fragile.
Well, it's insinuating that NASDAQ's doing the opposite of BTC and ETH,
Yeah.
which is true. I mean, NASDAQ is mega mooning right now.
Indeed, it is. I shorted it again on Friday because I hate money.
I know a lot of people who keep shorting it and are very sad.
I've been doing okay if I try to get in and out, like little scalps. But when I try to swing trade it for a larger move down, see, like, I'm just kind of saying, okay, well, I want to dance back with the 20-day moving average. So those types of try to get in for a couple days on a short, it's one thing. But trying to predict a secular decline like we've already had is a good way to lose money.
Well, the market, it's not really always a reflection of not only the current reality, but the future reality.
Yeah. I'm just interested in the NASDAQ with these 3 higher highs that the first 2 got sold off like that. And this one that we just had was weak as well. I just feel like we're the market's very expensive now. Anyway, this is not supposed to be about legacy. The one legacy thing we were going to discuss was actually gold and silver setups, and to see how those look relative to crypto. Do you have any of that pulled up?
No, I was just checking. There's a growing bearish divergence on those 3 higher highs.
Yeah, I just didn't like them. So with about an hour left on the session on Thursday, I took out some near-term puts on Qs.
I think those candlesticks are abandoned babies, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, gold is mooning, obviously, and silver is lagging big time, but it looks like it's ready to come out of white coffee and accumulation into markup for the first time in however many years that is.
Yeah, I thought silver was ready to go for it. It broke out of this, it made a higher high off a pennant, but then it did a complete retest, retrace, whatever you want to call it, and now it's just basically turning that pennant into maybe an ascending triangle and making me think it can dink around for another few days. Real popular thing to do, honestly, for silver. It loves to take its sweet time. And gold just keeps coiling while it churns up, and you could call it a wedge or something, but I mean, when I look at the monthly on gold, it looks, any of these months could be the one where it just blasts through the all-time high. Like if it's going to have its retest down, it needs to do it really soon because it's so strong, and every dip in gold has been bought really strongly. And I think we're just pricing in a weakening dollar and people's desire to sustain buying power. I think it's the asset class that has the best chance of going up, kind of no matter what the rest of the market does, which is why I like it, and which is why that's where I based my long positioning.
Yeah, and silver's coming out of a 6-year consolidation.
Yep.
Man, in a vacuum, that chart looks really good. But I said it looked really good in 2018 too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If you actually do like silver relative to SPY, then you've just gotten wrecked. Or silver relative to BTC.
It looks better now than it did certainly in 2018 with that spring recovery.
Yeah.
And the E to E on the monthly chart, it looks insane. It looks like ETH does pre edge to edge,
Yeah. Speaking of, if you also do it relative to gold, it looks good. I've talked about, let's see, what's her name? Lynn Aldrin. She was on, yeah. Man, I just clicked some ad on accident. Yeah, Lynn Aldrin Contact, if you go to Twitter, is a good follow. She was a podcast guest recently on the Market Huddle, which is one of the hosts of the Market Huddle, also hosts Macro Voices, which I've talked about. She does a lot of charts comparing legacy markets to precious metals and stuff. But just her analysis is really good in general, and she talked about Bitcoin in a recent podcast that she was on. So I'll try to link that up, but y'all check that out. Her stuff is really good, and I think the way she's been pricing some of these has been really informative. So, yeah. Friday follow.
Follow Friday.
Yeah,
and this
follow Friday.
even gold though, like everything's got this insane bearish divergence,
Yeah,
this
you can tell
insane
just
wedge.
looking at the volume.
Like you can even do this.
Everything could retrace massively. Like if we get a breakdown just across the board, the retraces could be severe.
Well, it looks like
it could
we're
just
in
explode topside at the same time, you know, like I don't know.
Where it looks like we're in fantasy land, you know?
You mean one where we are allowed to just print money and use it for whatever we want?
Right, like technicals say be careful going long here because this looks like it's ready to roll over.
Right.
But does that even matter? You know, I don't know.
I think from the buying power perspective, maybe not. Depends on where you consider value and what you consider value. I've heard some good arguments recently for saying that since there's no yield in bonds, then even though stocks are expensive, bonds are even more expensive on a relative basis. So this is part of this inflation argument. If we're going to have inflation and if bonds are going to be super cheap and dollars are going to be worth less, then people racing to real assets of any sorts, including stocks, even expensive ones, is the place to be. That certainly sets up bullish for metals. So even though that looks super, I mean, not parabolic yet, but like on the way to full parabolic, like the beginnings of being parabolic. But that also sets up for a chance for Bitcoin. So while you say Bitcoin consolidates in Q3 and we're not doing anything right now, I feel like it feels like a calm before a storm, even though we're not seeing that follow through yet.
Right. So historically, we do nothing in Q3. I think the two driving factors that could change that, especially for ETH, is ETH 2.0 phase 0, and obviously just the macro situation that we're talking about is very unique historically as well.
Yeah. I mean, if the market decides this is, you know, Bitcoin is a thing that you want some access to, some exposure to, then looks like a heck of a consolidation in Bitcoin that's worth buying.
Where's Parabolic Trav when you need him?
I know. Like, is he gone?
I don't know honestly. How in your right mind do you look at this chart in a vacuum and say this looks like a buy?
Let me buy this.
I don't.
Because it could explode upward.
But this doesn't explode. Like it has exploded upward, right?
I don't know.
I never buy this pattern 100 times out of 100.
I
just can't because
don't have straight up GLD or gold exposure. Mine is through miners. So if you look at GDXJ, you'll recognize it as a Adam and Eve style long-term double bottom on the monthly.
Mm-hmm.
What I kind of like about that is these companies, they benefit, even if gold retraces, these 1,600 plus gold prices make them profitable and make their businesses do well. But they're also cheap businesses. They're high, they're low multiples. Some of the really solid gold companies are pretty healthy. And then you show me this kind of chart pattern. look at it on your screen. You put even, that's like linear, isn't it? Or are you on log?
That's linear.
Yeah, when you put it on linear, it just makes you really moan.
It honestly looks like, the thing about trading crypto is you see so many patterns and stuff all the time, and it's like people hate TA, people think it's garbage. Great, whatever, I don't care. But when you trade this over and over and over and over again, you're like, okay, I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what I've done before, and I know exactly what's worked. So,
you could see that retrace back down, and
so
end up making the scoop.
This looks exactly like
ADA.
It looks exactly like 2019, 2020 for BTC, how it, even ETH as well. It looked like an Adam and Eve on the weekly, and then it actually dipped a third time, made a higher low on the macro level, and then went sideways. And April 1st, 2019, 2018, 2019. April 1st, 2019, it exploded.
Yeah, I could see that happening. It's not, I don't know. I just think it's going to break up. I think it's faked out plenty of times now.
But that's your bias. Is for sure we're bullish. For sure the resistance is where it is. If it fails at this resistance the third time or the second time, it doesn't mean that it's done. It just means watch for the ascending triangle.
Yeah, that's true. I could get out. There's nothing stopping me. Take a look at, this is an individual gold company, KL, it's Kirkland Lake, and this was brought to my attention on one of those podcasts. It might have been Lynn Alden again. But I dig this chart, and I took a position in this chart under 40, I think, like right around that diagonal breakout. But yeah, you're highlighting the same thing that I was looking at.
It's a nice something going on there, right?
Yeah, a potential inverted head and shoulders, but also the target takes you straight to the all-time high match, or maybe halfway through the target takes you there. This company's interesting. It's a gold company. Benefits, obviously, with higher price gold, but they also have no debt, tons of cash, and is a low multiple. So I look at some of these and I think, okay, well, there's still plenty of room left on these solid gold companies.
I guess I don't know anything about it, so that's all you. I'm just looking at the chart. I'm just on my.
But then you compare it to the chart. The chart looks good. Like that's the type of alignment that I can appreciate.
Right, but I can't say. Oh, you mean alignment for a position?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. This looks like a long position. Gold does not look like a long position. Gold looking like it does, and this looking like it does, doesn't make sense to me.
I don't think gold dips will last very long unless we have a liquidity event in the market.
But what's the what is it? XAG? No, XAU. Sorry. It's what, 68% is the parabolic drop typically. Is that right?
Sure.
I'm trying to remember.
Or 80.
Well, it's at least. I'll say at
least that 618 retrace.
Yeah, so it's 1337, which would make sense.
1350 or 1400 gold.
Right here. Yeah.
I really don't see that happening.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. We are not retracing to 13. Peter Schiff is elated right now. But that would be a throwback level, like it wouldn't be, if it happens, it's not like crazy.
I think gold could make a new all-time high and then retrace maybe back to where it is before it starts consolidating. Like I anticipate some kind of explosion upwards and then retrace.
Like on a crypto chart, this looks reasonable because crazy stuff happens all the time. But on gold, it's like the oil chart going to -40. It's like, what?
But gold hasn't had a quality markup cycle in years.
Okay.
It based for a really long time before it made this move. The one opportunity it really had to dump, it only went down 14%, while the rest of the market went down 35%.
This here? Yeah. This is March, yeah. March 12th.
That was the VIX top. So unless we get the VIX spiking heavily, I don't foresee a large drawdown in gold.
All right.
I would say I'd give you this.
I can't see the path. That's the problem.
I don't think we'll get more than a 33% drawdown in gold.
Okay. In the next 5 years.
No, I was going to say before 2022. So I'll give you 18 months. I don't think we'll get more than a 33% drawdown.
Because like you can see how.
Do you want to take that bet?
A 33%, sure.
Okay.
I'll take that bet.
What will we bet?
25.
A milkshake? $1 milkshake?
25 BTC.
25.
I can see the markups how it got to where it is now.
Yeah.
I can't see how it gets past where it is now. Like even this low time frame wants to go down. It does not want to go up.
Well, what's going to make it go down? Whether it's
gold, I don't know.
Whether it's gold or stocks. We got a question from the chat. Somebody with Vega at their end of their name. Somebody's nice to Vega. Potential triggers for a retrace: equities, gold. In equities, I think it's coming to terms or coming to realization with the fact that the real economy sucks, and that we got high on a cash infusion into the market, both underlying equities markets through debt. People, the Fed's straight up become one of the top 5 holders of several bond ETFs, corporate bond ETFs, plus individuals getting tax checks, $1,200 or whatever it was, and corporations being incentivized to keep their employees. Some of that rolls off the end of July. Depending on what additional stimulus is piped into the market, it could keep going up or maintain some stuff. But I certainly think that we'll find some rocky situations around the U.S. election, maybe a month or two leading into it. There's several criteria that I think that could trigger some downside. If this inflation argument, though, is real, then I still think equities, especially more solid companies, will get bid because people just want their cash in something real. But I feel silly talking about inflation, though, because we've gone so long without actually real, like, significant inflation. Jeffrey,
sorry, I took a swig of water.
No, that's fine. Jeffrey in the chat says he feels like BTC is just waiting for SPY to roll over, and then I guess his point would be that BTC could follow. And I think that's very possible. Maybe Bitcoin's lagginess is leading SPY breakdown. I don't know. I've heard a lot of good reasons for why Legacy has a lot of cash on the sidelines still. That's just programmatically starting to work its way back in after they were forced out during the dump, which can also elevate markets. So I have a hard time envisioning new lows, but the lack of retraces at all, whether it's the gold chart that Josh just showed or SPY or the Qs or whatever, it's tough. It's tough to consider, but hey, this is a new paradigm of endless Fed dollars.
It's just a fake market. Nothing matters.
Yeah, I think even Ray Dalio said something about that. How these are
capitalism's over.
So I don't know what the headline was, but it was basically like
that should be the headline.
Yeah, it was basically the free market is not operating as one or something. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, it's just silly. Is what it is. What are you gonna do?
What's your best bet for Q3?
Corporate welfare. For crypto. So if we get a real deal vaccine, and which I don't think is going to happen in Q3, but if we do, like somebody else said, VIX goes below 30 and BTC and ETH moon. Otherwise, I don't think this goes anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, we'll have to pull up that VIX chart, but first I got this Ray Dalio headline. Capital markets are not free. billionaire investor Ray Dalio says the Fed is boosting asset prices. Valuation metrics don't apply, and the U.S. dollar is at risk.
Yep.
I mean, surely he's talking his book, but at the same time, it's hard to disagree. That VIX line though, roughly 30 is really held, which is impressive all on its own right. It was under 30 forever. Above 30 was basically viewed as impossible, and now even though we're at all-time highs, the VIX is maintaining.
Yeah, I can't get bullish on BTC or ETH until VIX comes down. And I'd like to see the correlations go away. To see the NASDAQ correlation go away, even though it's not to our benefit, I think is a good thing. So I'd like to see the SPX correlation go away as well.
Yeah.
But I just can't get bullish on what I see. Even in the daily cloud for BTC and ETH, like it's just hanging there, you know? It's getting ready to base jump off a cliff. That's what it looks like to me.
Maybe. I have a hard time being bearish.
Based on
macro environment. Price action looks like it's ready to roll over and truly retest like 7K like you've been looking for forever.
Right. So what do you expect for Q3? Put you on the spot here. I know we hadn't been talking about it for 25 minutes.
I still expect to touch 14K sometime this year.
This year, sure. But what about Q3, Brian? Feet to the fire now.
Q3, when does Q3 end? That's
October,
July, August, September. So end of September is the end of Q3. That's right when you get to what I would envision could be some of the rockiest election territory. So yeah, I think dinking around below 10K until the end of Q3 is very possible. If we're still above our major metrics, if we haven't broken down below like 8K, 7K, whatever, then I think that sets us up for a very bullish Q4.
I mean, if you look at what's going on with the retail stocks and retail trading, and you look at what's going on with DeFi, and everybody's FOMOing into everything, and this just doesn't end well, you know? It just doesn't. It never has. It never will. So use caution. That's all I got to say.
It doesn't end well in what market? Legacy?
I mean, look at Legacy. Look at Hertz. Look at what was another one? I don't know. JCPenney, Macy's. All these charts where as prices going down, retail's buying, and then it doesn't ever retrace because they go to business.
Yeah, Hertz not being zero is amazing to me.
And then with the DeFi stuff, something's going to explode sometime, right? Like there's a greater than non-zero chance that DeFi is just going to explode on several ways. So don't be surprised. Is all I got to say.
We're already seeing you have DeFi stuff on your watch lists.
Not really. No, I don't really trade it specifically.
Comp, which we talked about in the last podcast with David Hoffman, it's come down quite a bit.
Well, the fact that they were able to list that as quickly as they did is criminal, but whatever. I don't make the rules at Coinbase. Shockingly, it's at lows, all-time lows on Coinbase. Who could have seen this coming? I thought it was a new paradigm.
Man, these Coinbase listing charts are always so good. Just like straight epic down.
I thought the good times could last forever.
Well, I'm going to let you talk about that for a minute because my dog's about to bark at the mailman. Talk to me about DeFi, Josh.
It's not because I'm just bearish on DeFi and ETH stuff. Like there's some okay stuff going on, but there's a headline this week about DAI and Compound being more than the DAI in existence.
What? How's that possible?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a dangerous situation, right? Because then you have a rehypothecation issue where if people are borrowing DAI to short something or long something, and then like they can't get it out of compound quick enough.
So there's some kind of synthetic dye out there?
Right. So it's just a massive mess, man.
I don't know.
It's a massive
Compound,
mess.
I bet there's a divergence on Compound USD on this 4-hour chart. Bullish
Well,
divergence.
there's definitely divergence on the hourly too, but
I kind of want to get long Compound right now.
Can't get excited about it.
Yeah, I don't want to be excited about it, but I could picture above 200 again, which is a nice trade.
I can see it going back to 200. It looks like somebody tried to support it at 200 before it broke down, but
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Just anytime there's VC interest in anything, that's the biggest red flag of all, because
they're the ones that are going to dump on you.
Exactly. They have that bag ready to sell to anybody willing to buy it. Just salivating.
I've talked about my REN woes and how I sold the perfect entry on REN for break even down here. It trended very nicely and then consolidated and has broken up yet again. And REN is kind of in the mix of all this DeFi stuff too, because there's some kind of methodology for wrapped BTC and REN and the dark pool matching amongst these different protocols. So it seems to be fueling off of that as well. And I don't know how long that'll last, but there's some good trades in here for these assets, even if you're bearish.
That's the next thing. We had colored coins, we had ICOs, we had IEOs, we had exchange tokens, and now it's the DeFi unoriginal idea where everybody is going to try to do the DeFi thing. Oh, I forgot stablecoins. We had stablecoins in there too. So now everybody and their mother is going to try to do some DeFi narrative for their coin, right? We had staking, master nodes. That was earlier on too, where there's like this idea that happens, this mutation, right? There's this mutation, and then all of a sudden, all these projects are like, oh, I can breathe life into this with DeFi or with master nodes, right?
Vega says, win solution, find problem. That's good. That's like crypto in a nutshell, or like non-BTC crypto.
Yeah, that's back to the building empty cathedrals thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Very delayed barking by my dog. It's because my family's here. I'm going to close the door. Talk to me, Josh.
Yeah, so it's comp. I am doing stuff with token sets where it's like this copy trading thing, where it's non-custodial and you hold the token of the portfolio, and then you can cash that in at a later date where the portfolio goes up or down.
Yeah, token sets is super cool.
So, that's ETH, that's DeFi. I like it from a trading perspective. People give me crap for like using something even though I don't like DeFi, but it does what I've done all my trading career, which is enable public trading. So I think that's really cool. That's why I'm using it. Yeah. So people can check that out should they wish.
What kind of on-chain metric stuff have you seen? If we're going to give ETH some credit, they have almost all-time high transactional volume, don't they?
Yeah, if you go back to the article, well, first, ETH USDT is just dominating on-chain metrics compared to any other stablecoin. And you can look at Tron and say, okay, those metrics are whatever because the transactions are free, so who knows what's going on there. But with ETH, transactions are super expensive right now, in part because of all the ERC20 transactions. So these values aren't fake at all. They're extremely real. And it's expensive to send transactions. So there's that, there's USDT just dominating all the other stable coins. And then if we look at ETH's transactions per day and weekly active addresses since March, it's just a moon rocket ship, right?
Yeah, I think nonstop. The only time that was higher was like December 2017. Your chart doesn't quite go back that far.
It's
way past. Right. It's way past 2019.
You're right. Another chart I like to look at on Etherscan is the unique addresses chart. It can't be deleted, so you can't look at it as a total value meaningful thing. But I just look at highest number of addresses on a certain day. And you can see it right here. We had 217,000 addresses that day.
Yeah, that's wild.
200,000. So we're getting a lot of new addresses all at once, which is incredibly bullish for anything in a vacuum, because that just speaks to demand, even though they might not necessarily be buying ETH in large quantities, they're using it for DeFi, they're using it for the ecosystem. The ETH people hope that it spills into value for the ETH token, but it won't necessarily.
So non-BTC, but this really surprises me from your charts, is Litecoin, Dash, Zcash, hash rate and difficulty are all way up.
Yeah. And I think that's because of mining profitability.
But I don't even understand how that's possible, though. Their
So
prices aren't reflecting that, are they?
What do you mean? Well, the prices are off zeros, right? They're off lows of nothing.
Okay.
There's other stuff going on here, like there's more efficient ASICs being released. Not in the case for LTC, which is the script algo, but LTC's halving was in August 2019. Hash rate dropped 70%. Now it's sort of basing and recovering since March, and I think that's fueling, like, it's a positive feedback loop where price goes up, more hash rate, price goes up, that sort of thing. I don't really see it as a negative. You could argue that there's more miners selling, but I don't know. That's what I see.
I mean, overall, that's pretty healthy, but if you compare it to the LTC relative to Bitcoin chart, it looks like garbage.
Yeah, and if you look at the on-chain metrics for like LTC and Doge, and you realize that they mirror the hash rate almost completely. So in my mind, the on-chain metrics aren't necessarily organic use of, like, people using LTC. It's just miners.
Miner activity.
Right. Like it's a ghost town except for the miners.
So it could be increasing, but overall still be trash.
Right. I think you get a false sense of like activity there.
Gotcha.
I don't know about you, but I don't consider like mining activity.
Do you think that's the same for Monero, or has Monero got its own thing going
on? For the hash rate?
Yeah, in the relationship.
So Monero changed their algorithm in November 2019, their consensus algorithm, and that changes what the hash rate looks like. So you can't actually compare November pre and post because they're two different mining algorithms. So even though it looks like it exploded in December 2019, it's completely different. Like you will never be able to compare the two. And we can't look at active addresses for Monero because it's privacy coin by default. So I don't really know what's going on there, to be honest.
You did a chart poll about which one looked more bullish between, was it Monero? What other ones did you put on there? I recognized Monero and Ethereum and maybe ADA.
Let me pull it up. I was shocked and happy that the most bullish option, in my opinion, didn't get picked.
Monero's relative to Bitcoin consolidation, though, has been really extreme. It hasn't made a new low since October 2019, but it's just such a tight consolidation. So people chose C for which one they'd hold for 6 months, and you put 4 different ones in there.
3. So this was Monero.
That was Monero. I recognize that one. B, I thought was XLM, or maybe B was. I think is that
B,
XLM?
Yeah, B is XLM, and then C is ETH-BTC.
Yeah. So and people chose ETH.
And most people chose ETH. So maybe I should have inverted these and see what people said, but I just thought it was interesting that A and B are just completely opposites in my mind as far as what the expectation is here.
Yeah, I mean that's what's interesting about Monero, because it's tapping the floor, whereas XLM's tapping the ceiling every time it hits.
Right.
Completely different from my fundamental desires for those two.
Oh yeah, I agree with you there. And then ETH is the most sideways expectation. Although this is on the top side of that, I just expect more sideways, more so than immediately going up over the next 6 months. And I'm long all this stuff, so whatever, it can do whatever it wants. But I just wanted to see what people were thinking.
Yeah, I don't have any significant positioning. XMR, XLM, Ethereum kind of leads the way for all alts, I guess. So I don't dislike this weekly Ethereum chart relative to BTC. It is sideways. It hasn't actually made the move, but if I was gonna say like the answer to your question of buy and hold something based on the chart, to me it's the one that has the most safety built into it.
Even if you don't know the ticker?
Yeah, maybe I'd choose XLM if I didn't know the ticker.
Yeah.
But I don't trust XLM ever.
Yeah, I know.
But if you have that line chart, if I pull up the weekly candle chart, it's consolidating over the 20-week. It's a nice looking triangle. I mean, any weekly close could really bias what this looks like, but the risk reward on Ethereum here is really nice. If DeFi unwinds, do people have to buy Ethereum?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think so.
I guess their collateral's in the stable coins, so they could just keep it in stable coins.
If DeFi unwinds, they just lose everything, and then ETH gets liquidated. So, or their stablecoin gets liquidated.
Yeah. So this problem with ETH is the same that we've talked about, whereas people are using the Ethereum network, but there's no guarantee that the Ethereum is necessary for some of these uses.
Yeah, it's almost like freeloaders in a sense, because like they're using the smart contract stuff, similar to Omni and Tether, the same situation. That's always the argument of you're not going to capture value necessarily because of on-chain activity or use, or there was Omni was the only one in town, Omni Tether, for the longest time, and it saw a ton of use, and Omni did nothing. Like Omni didn't go anywhere because people are using Tether.
I'm gonna make my Q3 prediction that Ethereum breaks up from this BTC relative consolidation anyway.
Okay. Maybe. Is it because BTC retraces harder than ETH?
Could be. I'm not bearish enough on BTC to where ETH couldn't still do its move. Like even if, say, BTC goes to like 7K, I think it'll find buyers by then at the latest.
I still think one way or the other, I agree with you. Like ETH is going to move harder than BTC is here, up or down, I think.
I just could see 0.038 on ETH relative to BTC.
Well, yeah. I don't think anybody's arguing with that target, but it's just a matter of when.
I'll call that my Q3 tap, 0.038.
Okay. And
it's not the biggest move in the world, I guess.
It's still, when you're on the right side for the right amount, it's decent.
I guess it's 40%.
It's pretty good to stack those sats.
Yeah, that's some good stat. That's some good sat stacking.
Tezos looks super sad to me.
Oh yeah.
And I think what we're seeing here is people rotating out of Tezos and into DeFi and ADA. Not exactly like.
So Tezos lost its Link correlation there too. I mean, look at Link still chatting. That's what Link does. God, it looks like it's about to go on a new high.
I saw somebody post a link. They're talking about link whales. Maybe it was Glassnodes or somebody, but they're saying more and more whales are just absorbing all the link right now, and that's driving up the price.
I mean, I don't know where is Link on the market cap rank?
I don't know, 10th maybe.
I could see Link making a big push on that. Oh yeah, it's number 13. Apologies for going to coinmarketcap.com like a plebeian.
I still don't understand the connection between link price and anything it does.
Who cares? We don't with Ethereum, and it's worth 25 billion.
Do I actually care? No. Am I curious? Yes.
But Chainlink is 1.6. Let's go to a better site on chain.
But yeah, that price chart is insane.
What's the 50-50? I mean, Chainlink's number 12. 1.6 billion. I think Chainlink market cap wise could 10x. Why not? I hate saying that. Like, people are going to make so much money and I'm not going to make any.
Yeah, Link is one that I didn't buy any of,
Yeah. What's the 2050? That's what I'm looking for. I don't know what the inflation looks like on Link.
So they don't have inflation, I don't think. That's the other thing.
Wow.
We talked about this like 5 podcasts ago, maybe, but Link has all this unvested, free floating supply.
Oh, yeah, they can just dump it anytime. I remember us talking about that.
Where,
but it doesn't mean it can't go up.
Right, and they sell 1 million every month. The Link team. I don't know. And, if you bring this up with people who hold Link, they're like, no, Sergey would never do that to us. Like, okay, well.
Yeah, I mean, well, they can dump all the way up, but it doesn't mean it won't go up.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. The Masari screener for on-chain effects, I forgot how to look for the 2050 market cap. So, sorry.
It's just weird because, that, what is it? How the Grinch Stole Christmas?
Yeah.
At the end, how he's like, they did it without packages. They did it without boxes or bags. That's what I feel like Link is doing, because it doesn't have staking. It doesn't have DeFi really. Like, it just oracles, right? Like
just oracles, but apparently people want to use those. Okay, so the 2050 market cap for Link is just under 5 billion. So that insinuates that it's still got 2/3 of the coins that could come out somehow.
Well, that somehow is the team, I still haven't found it. Let me just look at my last article on Link.
I'm just saying there's certainly no reason Chainlink can't pass Bitcoin SV and Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. How is CRO ranked so high?
I don't know. That's why it's pointless to even look at market cap, because I don't even, you can't take that stuff seriously. BSV, I just refuse to even recognize. So here's the chart. This is what's circulating. This is what they're selling at 1 million a month of. And this node operator thing, I have no idea what this is about.
Well, that's the Oracle people.
But it hasn't changed. If it's a reward, I assume it gets distributed to circulation. But so I don't know what this is. If somebody knows what this is, if node operator rewards, Link Marines, if you can tell me what that's about.
Yeah, we're gonna catch crap for not knowing anything again.
I don't care. But yeah, they're selling 1 million a month, whatever. That's not that big of a deal. The worst part is
breaking news. Shitcoin has dump budget going.
Well, the worst is when they sell, 5 million in a month, because then you feel that on the price chart. Yeah, when they're dripping it.
Distribution that hurts.
Yeah. This is just a slow bleed that the market can absorb, just like proof of work, block reward mining. Same thing.
Just like Jed McCaleb with Ripple.
Jed McCaleb with Ripple. By himself. The difference is pre-mine versus proof of work. That's the difference.
It truly is a joyous view, though, to see Ripple completely not be able to keep pace with the rest of the market, even the alt market.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that something's going on there, right?
Well, yeah, they're just bleeding it for everything they can. There's enough people with big fat bags that don't care, and they're just like, whatever. This thing's worth 0, so I'm going to continue selling it.
Yeah, and this is Stamp, so the volume is legit, right? And there's some algo selling here or something,
Yeah, I mean that's really, really bad.
It almost looks like Ripple is reabsorbing what Caleb sells on some days, so like it'll double the volume basically, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
can you go and look down at what that consolidation price was
This one?
relative to the dollar in 2016,
Yeah.
or the
5,
pre-markup price?
half a cent.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that what you mean?
yeah,
Down here?
that's your target.
Yeah. I mean, if this makes a new low, which it looks like it wants to,
It's going below 10 cents.
yeah. I mean, there's no reason it's worth anything, but that's just me. And I'm happy. I'm happy to see this dump to zero. Because as soon as it does, they're gonna say they want to do an IPO, right? Like because they ran out of money.
Yeah, well, they just raise money constantly. But
Yep.
their token is pointless even if their company has equity value for some reason, which it doesn't.
It's all just hype. Partnerships hype.
Crappy partnerships hype. Like some big company exploring blockchain through a partnership with Ripple makes no sense. Who cares? It's because Ripple paid them to say that they're exploring blockchain through a partnership with Ripple. That means nothing to me.
I agree.
Show me a use case where Ripple is doing anything that makes any benefit to anyone. Maybe we can talk.
So it looks like the algo runs Monday through Friday and then pauses on the weekend.
It really does.
You can see it. What's today? The 3rd. Looks like it dropped way off. Today's Friday. What was June 5th? What day was that? June 5th was a Friday. Yep, that's what it is. Drops off on the weekend. That's funny.
You could say this is just bottom things, but there are no bottom things for Ripple.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's Satoshi relative bottom in 2017 was around 1500 sats. That's what I got in this conversation with Don Alt about XRP, because they were saying where's the bottom, and I was saying 150 sats because they want to see 1500. I guess 1500 was the number that it bottomed at before. Here's the Polo chart. I hate this where I have to pull up some other chart.
I agree. We just need
consolidated histories.
Yeah, we need indices just with everything together.
1475 February 2017.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So they think it could bleed all the way to there, but I don't see what's stopping it anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see any XRP bots anymore anywhere. I don't see people supporting the company anywhere on social media. Maybe it's because I muted them all. I don't know, but I just see that. I see that for Link now instead of Ripple, which is
right.
Not just me saying that. A lot of people have said that. But I don't see the Ripple bots
At
anymore.
some point, the pain is just too much, and you silently adjust your handle from Tony Blockchain XRP to Tony Blockchain Link.
It's like that Homer meme where he goes into the bushes. Like I could see a meme where it's a Ripple logo face going into the bushes and then coming out is a Ripple Link logo face. I should make that. That's hilarious.
I mean, that's so ugly.
Yeah.
But it's still so overvalued. Like some stuff, nothing ever goes to zero. There's always, someone will run things as a blockchain, or even if there is no blockchain, some exchange will still trade it. But so it's hard for something to truly go to zero, but it's easy for something to continuously bleed.
What is Purecoin at? Speaking of going to zero.
Yeah, there you go. Buy Purecoin.
Purecoin is still worth
something. 24 cents?
That's just the first one I could think of.
What about Feathercoin?
24 cents? What? Look at that bleed. Whew.
Feathercoin's still on Bittrex. How about that?
Feathercoin,
Hold on,
78 cents.
I got to turn off picture in picture because it's truly to zero. No, that's 78 Satoshis. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was a top 10 coin in 2014.
Was it?
I think so.
It's a nice this little wedge there,
It's just
though.
accumulation, bro.
It's an exciting wedge to zero.
It's gonna 100x. Watch. So there's gonna be some developer come back from the dead, saying, "We've been really thinking strong and hard about Feathercoin, and we came out with a new white paper. Hope you guys will take a look."
We rebranded to Phoenix Coin.
Phoenix Coin, out of the ashes. Can you zoom back up? I want to see what was the all-time high on Feathercoin. Good Lord. What a chart.
Yeah.
What if we make a 50% retrace on that, Josh? What's that, 1000x?
I don't know. That's not anything I want to touch.
Just
regardless.
look at the Feathercoin chart if you're ever curious about holding an altcoin long term.
Yeah. Zcash was always we'll call it the bearish spank bank. That's the punching bag. That's not even enough data.
Some of these DeFi projects that sound like a good idea, or some, they're a clone of the early movers, they'll do this too.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So give me your Q3 predictions. How about Ethereum and BTC?
I think we go down and come right back up, and we blast off in Q4. So I think Q3 is going to be a net nothing.
But you think we'll tap 7Ks?
I think so. Or the way we stand right now, if you had to make me bet on a 3-month trade, I'd say buy the dip instead of long the top.
Would you? So yeah. I think the trade there, if you could do it, then would be actually to sell puts, right? So go to cash, sell puts, collect premium, and buy Bitcoin at 7K if it hits your target.
There you go. There's your setup.
Of course, you miss all the upside, or not all of it, because you'd get your put selling premium. But if it breaks up hard, you'd have to FOMO in, which there's no problem. There's nothing wrong with FOMOing in.
Well, here's the juiciest setup. If I can find a chart, I don't have stuff all over it. Just this one. This edge to edge on the daily. Yeah. The hit rate on edge to edge charts on the daily, 80% plus at least.
Especially if you get that nice TK cross on the downside.
You get your TK cross. You got this flat Kumo on the bottom here. It's just. It looks like a dream in a vacuum. You take that 10 times out of 10. Just like we took this
with the underside weekly retest too, the failure to get past that beyond a wick. It does look distribution-y. It looks like it needs downside. I get all that. I'm totally fine with the argument of you can put your dollars to work. Put your dollars in these scammy DeFi projects. Lend them out. Collect your 8% or whatever, and then sell puts, collect some premium on that, and then if you get the downside target, buy Bitcoin. If we break above on the weekly, 10,173 is what my number here is on Bitstamp. But if we get above 10.2 on a weekly close, then buy the crap out of Bitcoin. Just buy everything.
Yeah.
Probably a decent way to play Q3. I'll probably look back on Q3 and wonder why I didn't take that advice.
I will be taking the short on that edge to edge. So
that's the setup you're looking for.
I can guarantee you that's going to happen. Definitely.
You'll wait for the daily close on that to get in.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an entry. It would have to get below 9K on a daily close, basically.
Gotcha.
This is even something. It's like this weird. I'm pointing it down, but I think you know what I mean. There's, I don't know what this is. It just doesn't look bullish to me.
Yeah, it's kind of a rounded top.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, that's all I got. You got anything else?
Not really. I do think we are going to get some volatility. I really have a hard time being short, even in the scenario that you lay out there.
Well, I've talked about this with somebody else, and I think being short here or being hedged here until 97.50 as your stop for the hedge, and then your short entry is at 9K, and then that moves your stop loss to 93.
Yeah.
And your target is 7.1. The issue with the 7.1 target is the 200 EMA is at 8.5. The yearly pivot's at 8.1. So there's all sorts of stuff on the way down.
Yep.
But
the 20 SMA is at 82. The 200 days at 8K.
Yeah. So, but that's still the setup I'm gonna take.
Actually, the 200 SMAs all moved all the way to 83 something. I didn't even realize that. Let's see if that's cross. Yeah, it is. It's cross exchange. So since I've been talking about it, it's moved up $300. It looks flat. It's just Bitcoin went on such a big up move that even a moving average that's gone up $300 looks flat unless you're like scaled way in. That's interesting. I didn't notice that at all. Didn't realize it moved so much because I've been saying, I want 8K to hold. But this insinuates it could just go sideways until the 200-day catches up.
Yeah, and that goes back to, anytime I talk about like the C clamp, it's never absolute. It's always the likelihood of going up is lower than going down until the EMAs catch up with price. Then we can blast off.
Yeah. Yeah, if the moving averages start to catch up with this sideways price, like if this just rides the top side of your cloud, for instance, that would be a really interesting shift in that setup.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you enter the short, I bet on the whole you're probably collecting funds for being short anyway. So I agree with you. The risk reward is good. I will try to reassess my ideas, but I'm not looking at this market and thinking, how can I make a ton of money on the downside? I'm looking at it thinking, how can I get in for the upside, whether that's from lower or higher?
Yeah, I hear you. I just, if I don't take the short on the edge to edge, I'll be upset at myself. It's just like longing the gold parabola. Like if you long that and it drops, you're like, wow, I'm an idiot because I knew better, and it's like here, if I don't take this short and it goes to 7.1, I'm like, what am I even doing here? Right? Like I should go flip burgers.
This is the trade that
This is the trade.
I knew I was supposed to take this trade. The chart told me to take this trade. I didn't take this trade.
Right. So it's simple. It's just like, just like 2018, 2019. The trade was edge up to the upside. That was the trade. Anyway.
Well, let's leave it there. Everybody, you can check out everything that Josh is doing at Carpe Noctem on Twitter. Follow his YouTube too. He's got good stuff. Twitter.com or YouTube.com/Carpe Noctem. Go to ledgerstatus.com. That was the wrong button. Let's do this one. Go to ledgerstatus.com to subscribe to this podcast and check out everything. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you next time. Just